That was awkward. Hey there, community. Jason Rahm here. We are live, and if I seem a little kerfluffled, it's because I had some traffic issues, and I was like walking into this backstage just like 3 minutes ago. So, if the beginning of this doesn't go great, that's on me. I have kiddo duties on Thursday mornings, and it is what it is. But I'm glad to be here. And we have another lab for you this week. Last week we had a lab on distributed cloud with Worldwide Technologies, and today we get to do another lab on distributed cloud focused on DNS. And we'll introduce our guests here in a second. But I want to bring my co-host on today. Boo, how are you?
I'm doing really good, Jason. I was not stuck in traffic because I'm in Seattle this week, and my hotel's not too far away, so I was able to avoid all that mess.
Nice. Yeah, I was going to say, you have a slightly different background today than you normally do when we do these things.
Yeah, raining, as is typical for Seattle and Pacific Northwest, but still enjoying being out here, seeing some of my colleagues in person.
Yeah, I've got a little Seattle weather here in the Midwest myself today. Like it's about 54 degrees and drizzle,
Wow.
And that's usually my experience when I come to Seattle. So.
Cool.
All right. Well, we're gonna do a lab here in a second, and we'll go ahead and bring our guest on. Alexandro, how are you?
Hello, doing fine, doing great. Hello. Welcome everybody. Good afternoon or good night. I don't know actually. Or good morning for you.
Now, where are you? Where are you in the world?
Yeah, actually I'm in the Netherlands currently. So yeah, it's almost it's 5 o'clock now.
Okay. And where did you say you are?
Sorry, I'm in the
Where
Netherlands.
Where did you say you are?
In the Netherlands. So.
In the Netherlands. Okay.
Yeah. So
nice. I've driven through the Netherlands before. I've been to Amsterdam for a couple different work things, but otherwise just driving through. I haven't really spent time there outside of F5 requirements. So hopefully one day I'll get back to enjoy the beauty of your of that nation.
Yeah, it's a nice country. Although I'm a fake Dutch, as you can see. Actually, I'm Brazilian, but I do live in the Netherlands for almost 7 years now.
Yeah, nice. Okay, so you are going to share with us today not just the fact that we're going to go through a lab, but why don't you talk to us a little bit about what you guys are doing, what your vision is for the labs that you guys build.
So yeah, basically we have something that's called 3D labs, and the whole idea of 3D labs is that you can showcase new technology for specific vendors, in this case for F5. So we have a bunch of labs, a couple of labs that actually try to showcase F5XC. So we have one for WAP delivered, and we also have another one that you can showcase and then multi-cloud connectivity, and we also have this one regarding DNS, the DNS distributed cloud. So the whole idea is that the people can just book a lab, try, and have some hands-on experience how to work with F5XC, for example. And also, we, in this sense, he can speed up and test some solutions. So if you want to do a proof of concept, for example, actually I would say proof of value, you can verify all the features that are in, and you have a live environment that you can work on and test if something going to work or not. Of course, when you're talking about the 3D labs itself, it's a little bit more controlled because you also have a student guide over there, and you can do step-by-step things. So, for instance, if you are talking about the DNS that you're going to do in a couple of minutes, we're going to say, this is how you're going to log on. This is how you can access F5XC. Then you need to click here to have access to the DNS configuration part, and so on. So it's a really guided way that the student can go step by step on the configuration and learn how to do it.
Yeah, that's great, because I know some people just buy stuff sight unseen, but I'm a kick the tires kind of guy. Like I need to touch it, and it's kind of like going to buy a car, right? You don't usually. Well, I guess there are some people that like go on, hey, I like that car, and they buy it. But I like to go into the dealer and look at all the cars and sit in all the cars and drive all the cars before I actually buy the car. And when you can download something and build it in your own environment, or install hardware and do it in your own environment, it's one thing. But with SaaS, that's a different story. You can't exactly just buy that and put it in your environment, or just trial it. It's one of those things where you have to have access to actually, to your point, to show the proof of value. So I'm glad that we have environments like this to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to talk us through specifically what we're going to do today?
Yeah, definitely. Let me see, how can I share my screen, because I don't want to show a lot of slides, but I actually would like to show at least 2 slides. One that I can show you how you have access to the lab and actually what you're going to do on the lab environment. So let me just see, how can I share my screen over here?
While you're sharing, I'll say hi to some of our audience today. Jose, great to see you. And Bruno as well. And Philippe, good to see you. And you should be able to...
just find the right
the right window.
Yeah, just fine. So probably you can see my screen, I hope.
I can, and I can bring you on. There you go.
So what we're gonna do today is actually, we're gonna talk about F5XC, and especially on the DNS management part. So during the lab, the students will be able to configure a primary DNS zone on F5XC. So we also going to learn how to publish an application on F5XC. So basically, we're going to create a HTTP load balancer and also create associated automatic records towards towards this primary zone that we just made. And later on, the student also going to have the opportunity to work with global load balancing features. So imagine that you have data centers in different places in the world, so you can create rules to steer the traffic based on the things that you would like to do. So I want to redirect traffic from Alexander that's coming from the Netherlands to an European data center, but for you guys that are in US, I can redirect you guys to a data center that is in the United States. And I also added 2 extra labs on this one. That's one for the DNS synthetic monitor and also the HTTP synthetic monitor. So the whole idea is that the guy will also going to be able to, students will be able to learn how to monitor and see the performance of a specific DNS record or an HTTP application.
Yeah, it's kind of important to know how your things are behaving, right? Observability is kind of important.
Yeah. So basically, that's what we're gonna do regarding the lab. But one step back, I actually would like to show you how you can access the lab and how can you request the lab environment. So basically, you just need to go to the Westcon website over there, and there is, if you go, let me show actually on the browser, I think this is better. So yeah, if you go to the Westcon website and access part, it doesn't matter in which country you are, if you access the 3D Labs environment, you will be guided to our 3D Lab solution, and here you can see all the labs that are available for F5. So we have one for cloud DNS management, as I said, also one for the multi-cloud connectivity when you're going to work with CEs and do the deployment. We have one for the Nginx and also one for the distributed cloud. On distributed cloud one, you're going to be able to publish HTTP load balancer and also apply WAF policies, work with bot defense, and so on. So it's really for you to be able to learn how F5XC works. As soon as you click in one of the environments, you have the option to book it. So for me, it's going to be a little bit different, of course, because I already have some extra access over here. But yeah, you go. If you already registered on our learning platform, you're going to see this page. Otherwise, you're just going to need to fill in a form where you're going to need to register yourself. And after you get access to it, you can just book the lab you want. So I just need to specify a date. Let's say that I want to do it start on Tuesday next week. And I can select the duration. So 1 week, 3 days, or a 4 hours workshop. And when I do the request, this email will be sent to the people that are responsible of approving the access to the lab. And that's it. So as soon as it's approved, you're going to receive an email with your environment, and yeah, you'll be able to access the CloudShare environment, that this one over here. So of course, this will differ per lab that you want. So for example, on this one that you have the DNS lab, we have just 2 virtual machines. One will work as a student, client machine, sorry, and the other one will work as the server. So remember that I told you that at some point you're going to publish a web application, and actually the web application is running on this Ubuntu server over here. So as a student, you don't need really to think about these type of configurations. And also, if you want to do some proof of value, you don't need to think, okay, I need to put all these machines together, and then I will be able to test the solution. And what is really nice about the 3 labs, in my opinion, is that, of course, you also have the lab guide. And here, as I said, you're going to have a step-by-step guide where you can test and learn about the topic that you're working on. So in this case, the first part here, I'm just telling how you can access the lab environment, and so you can get familiarized with CloudShare. That's the platform that actually we use for the labs. And later on, we're gonna enter really on the configuration on the SaaS platform for F5XC on this one. And then it's just really a matter of going through all the lab. And by the way, after you finish the lab, of course, if you want, you can test some extra things, because this is a container environment when I'm talking about the machine. So you can test some other features if you want to.
So what you're telling me is I can break all the things.
Kind of. Yeah, hopefully you're not going to break, but technically, you might break some stuff.
Yeah, I like to make a mess of things. Once you get through the actual goals, then it's like, okay, what else can I learn here?
But actually,
it's like going back to when I was a kid, like taking apart, once the VCR died. VCR, for those of us who are old enough to remember what one of those are. Once it died, Dad's like, here it is, and it's like, take everything apart and like looking at all the parts, and so that's what I like to do.
Awesome.
I'll mention too for the audience is like the labs you have are not just F5. We realize that your entire environment is not F5 technology. You have other technologies in your environment, and you have other labs to support other vendor equipment. So
we do have other labs to support other vendors, but actually what's actually nice about this one, let's suppose that you have a customer X that wants to try to do a proof of value regarding 2 different vendors. I'm not talking about comparison, but how he can integrate multiple vendors. We can build up a blueprint. That's what we call. So basically, we're going to create the environment where we just saw the machines over there, and then you can try. So also, if you want to speed up a sales process, for example, or if you want to, instead of trying to book a proof of concept that you're going to need to prepare everything, we can easily prepare a blueprint with all the machines, and then you can have a running environment to test how some solution works.
Yeah, very good. Bruno also mentioned, if you do break all this stuff, there is a button to revert it that you can access yourself. Yeah. So if I broke it with beyond repair to be able to revert, that's handy.
It's your own environment. So if you break, it's your own, so we can reverse. But otherwise, you're not gonna actually cause issues for other students if they're doing something.
Okay, great. Well, let's walk through this then. This is my environment, and maybe I'll make that a little bigger for everyone out there. And I have the lab guide here spun up. I think I already had that up, but okay. So walking through, let me make that bigger for everybody online or just me because I'm old. But walking through how to use this, don't create too many load balancer objects. I like bold. That's like the TLDR of every page, right? The bold stuff.
Yeah, the reason with the load balancer, of course, because of course we have some limitations with the amount of load balancer that we can create. So that's why I ask the students to not create a bunch of them, because maybe we can reach the limits that we have for our tenant.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a bunch of different labs we can get through. We may not get through all these today, but it's a nice highlight. And I did get that email from I want to highlight the email, but you when you registered for us for the course to walk through, did get the email, had all my access stuff. So I the call as the countdown was going down, got that launched and my environment going. And so you can see in my environment anyway, my Kali Linux and my server, my client and my server are running, and then I can get to each of those by tab, and there's my desktop, which I'm sure I will need here very shortly. All right, so and add color anywhere along the way as I go through this, and Boo, if you are you walking through this as well, Boo?
I was going to walk through it, but I might actually watch yours.
Okay.
So I can follow exactly where you are.
Okay. So objective, bold. Objective of this 3D lab is to give you an overview of how distributed cloud DNS management works. During the lab, you'll be able to test the following scenarios. And so we're going to do F5 distributed cloud serving as a primary DNS server. So, and what you mean by that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I go out and I register a domain, and F5 distributed cloud is going to host that domain and provide resolution for queries coming in for anything attached to that domain, right?
Exactly. So on this one, of course, we had to do a little trick. So I do have some domains that are already registered over there, and you're going to create a subdomain. But otherwise, of course, you need to go to your register and then have a domain, then you need to point it out to the F5XC platform.
Okay. And so, all right, so providing authoritative DNS there. And then once we have that hosted, we're going to have, in this case, a DNS load balancer configuration. So, what is that going to do for me from a distributed cloud standpoint? Like what am I doing there?
So basically what we're going to do there is specify, for example, that as soon as people try to access that an application that you created over there, let's say that we have the JSON application that's up and running, that you want to steer the traffic to go through different locations. So you want to use the RE that's closest to that particular user.
Okay. And then, of course, you can do distributed cloud as a secondary DNS server. So your authoritative is hosted somewhere else, and then distributed cloud sucks those domains in and provides secondary in case your primaries are under some kind of an attack or a catastrophic hurricane or whatever takes out your data centers.
Yeah, there are multiple use cases that can think of having a F5XC as a secondary server, even if you would just want to hide everything. So you want to hide your primary from the internet, and you want to make F5XC as some sort of the primary one, although we're not really publishing it as a primary to protect against DDoS attacks, for example.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's get going here. I'm going to log into the environment, open a browser. I did get that. I'm in there. Logged in, click on the Kali Linux. It automatically RDP'd, I think.
Yeah, this is really like some steps for you to check and see if the environment is working the way you expect. So it's just to double check things and also to have to understand how it works.
Yeah, okay. And so let me see. It should, if needed, you can have the system log you in via, okay, don't need to do that. Another thing, you can switch keyboard layouts. Don't need to do that. Okay, open Firefox, and then two bookmarks, DVWA and OWASP. During later labs, we'll need the DNS FQDN for the Ubuntu server system, so we'll copy it already while we're in CloudShare. So if we go to the server and get that FQDN, okay. And that's this guy, right?
Yep.
Okay, so let me drop that on a notepad. Let's see. Don't know that I copied that out of the environment. Oh, it didn't copy all of it.
It copied automatically. When you click on it, it copies automatically. At least it's supposed to copy automatically.
Okay. Yeah, it copied the first part, but not the dots.
Okay.
There we go. Got it all. We're good. And so let me go back to the lab guide. Wait.
Yeah, I think you opened a new tab. That's why.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, gotcha. So, okay, we got that. So now we're going to log into the to the XC environment. Okay.
Yeah, this is actually the address of our tenant. You need to sign in with Okta. I think it's also states over there.
Let me go there. All right. Sign into Okta. And then we want that username. We don't want that. Student at f5labrats.net. Okay.
And I think you also received on the email, we received the password for the tenant, because this is a password that changes from time to time. So
right. Yep, I've got that. So I can copy that over from my email.
And you're in.
Okay. That looks like distributed cloud.
Yeah, you're in. So basically now you have access to an F5 distributed cloud tenant. So, and as you said in the beginning, you can break stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So now that loads up, and then you'll learn how to use DNS management. Okay. Some of the figures make a reference to f5labrats.info. During this lab, you will make a subdomain for that. Okay. So I need to create a primary DNS domain on distributed cloud. So we're going to go to DNS management. And I need to find it with my eyeballs. There we go. All right. So we have some that are already in there. I see a J Smith and a, I guess one that's a model one, but so I'll create a new one. Let's see what the instructions tell me to do, because I'm going to follow instructions today. And if I don't follow instructions, you guys can call me. You can call me out on it. Go to manage DNS zone.
I think it's quite important that you at least use the domain that's over there. Otherwise, the lab is not going to work.
Okay, did I go that far? I go to add zone, right?
Yep.
Okay, went there. You should see a screen like this below. I did. They go to add zone, and then on the domain name, add the name of your domain. Since the lab environment, use the first letter of your last name plus. Okay.
Yeah. The reason we ask the students to do this is, of course, to avoid the duplicated names.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll do Jimmy Packets. So J Packets is my domain name. And then I need to edit the configuration.
Yeah.
And then let's see, then I need to add an item to the resource record sets.
Don't forget to add of course the rest of the domain, the f5labrats info, if I'm not wrong.
.info, there you go. Okay, and then I'm going to leave default parameters. I'm going to add a record set. And then in the SOA configuration section, you can change the values. For now, let's use the default. In the resource record set, click add item. From this page, you can create different types of DNS. Let's create an MX record, an A entry, and a C name. Okay, so MX empty, and type your domain as the domain. So do that, MX, leave it blank, and then okay. So we want an MX 3600 we'll leave alone, but jpackets f5lab rats.info. Are we leaving that priority at 10? Yeah, okay. Click apply. All right, that was simple. All right, and it is displayed. Does mine look like that? And it does. And anybody watching, if you have questions, comments about the lab or about DNS or about F5 distributed cloud, feel free to drop those in there. We can either answer them as we go, or we can follow up with you after the show. All right. So now you're at a record called My App. Change the record set to A and 1.1.1.1. How does Cloudflare feel about that address?
Yeah, I'm not that creative, so that's why I just picked up an IP address. That was the first IP address that popped up in my head. But we can use any other one, of course.
My app. Okay, and I click apply. So now I've got a record name of my app against 1.1.1 and an hour TTL. And now that should be showing up as so. And it looks like we have a match there, so we can move on to the next one. And then Juicy, CNAME Juicy, and then demo OWASP Juice Shop. Okay, so let me do that. Let me copy. CNAME Juicy.
Yeah, so basically the idea when we're building up these labs that the user will be able to list to create an MX record and address record, and of course a CNAME, so we can see the different things when you try to do DNS queries.
What is that right? OWASP-juice.shop. Well, I got that completely wrong.
If you want, you can create a different name.
All right, so done. Okay. So click apply to finish the configuration. You will see the records you just made. If that looks good, you can apply again, save and exit. Okay. Let me apply that. DNSSEC mode, disable. Allow HTTP load balancer manage records. I think we clicked that later, but we'll come back. Did I miss that?
You're right. You're right. I asked to click it later on purpose.
Okay.
But yeah, of course, if you click it now, it's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I want to follow the instructions because we'll make sure I do this the right way for our first time through. Okay. All right. So now I have a F5 labrats.info with JPackets. I've got 4 DNS records and I'm pending here. So if I refresh this, and now we're active. So that's so on ns1.f5 cloud DNS. That should be resolving now. So I guess we're going to go test that here in a second. Okay, so we're going to go over to our Kali Linux machine and bring up a console.
By the way, of course, I asked the students to do it on the Kali Linux machine, but if you want to use your own machine, it will work because this is running on F5XC. So I just asked the students to do it from Kali because there I do have the dig. Otherwise, I don't know if someone is using Windows, probably they will have to use NSLookup. So but that's why. But it's up and running. So actually, if you try to resolve this address, it should work.
Yeah. So for those of you that are out there, if you go resolve, jpackets.f5lats.info, it should be out there. And then of course my a record within that, my app.jpackets .f5labs.info. So give me a thumbs up in the comments if that's resolving for you externally, because I'm sharing my window, my Chrome window here. I'll go ahead and do it in the environment. So at least we'll get an internal validation of that. So if I do a dig, my app dot J packets F5 lab rats.info. And there we go, out to Cloudflare. So I guess if you wanted to use my name there for the next hour that this lab is going to be running, you can do your DNS resolutions at Cloudflare with that name, and that'll come into this environment. So there you go. Okay, so we have that working. That's good news. And then, so we did, let's go ahead and look at the NS record for that. Is that back here? Yeah. Okay, so if I just dig at my domain, f5labrats.info, and look at the NS record there, and we can see, as we saw in our configuration window, that in fact that F5 Cloud DNS is providing resolution services for that. And so that's good to know. All right. So let's move on.
Yeah, this is actually a second example if someone wants to try it on Windows as well. But basically, we're going to do the same thing, the same test. So instead of using Dig, we're going to do it on Windows on your own machine.
Yeah. Okay, so MX record, we could look at that too, but we're resolving now, so we should be. Oh, I didn't do my J packets here. So let me revalidate my NS records there. Same thing, and then we can look at my MX record. And then Juicy was my C name, right? So Juicy, and there we go. All right, DNS is working. All right, so we can slide down here a little bit. Go ahead.
No, we can slide down this one definitely, because it's just repetition or using Windows instead.
Yeah. Okay. So we finished that exercise. We set up our primary domain. That was like ridiculously easy, right? We added a few. We added our subdomain. We added a few records, and it just worked. And it propagated pretty darn fast too. I use name.com for some of my domains, and it is impressive how all these hosted services, how quickly you can just go from nothing to working, and it's really great. Okay, so now we're gonna set up an automatic HTTP load balancer record. Yeah.
Just if we go back to the distributed cloud console for a sec.
Sure thing.
If folks at home are going to help us out with some testing, so you've got Jason's created DNS names there, and we just go to DNS management under performance, I believe. And if we find your host name, we could start seeing where people are popping us from. So if you're watching live right now, hit us up. Maybe we'll see you on the map.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. So are my requests coming in from? Well, I guess I do have. Those are, I guess, my two requests would come in here. So from the US. So yeah, that's a good call out. We'll come back and take a picture of this map and maybe add that to the show notes after the fact.
That'd be
cool.
Okay, so back here. Okay, in this activity, you'll learn how Distributed Cloud can automatically add a record to a DNS zone when you create a new HTTP load balancer. Two parts: enabling HTTP managed records on the DNS domain, and then publishing an app on Distributed Cloud. Okay, so we want to go back to DNS management. This is the point I was bringing up before, is if I go back here and click into my, let's see.
Actually, you need to click on the three dots on the side.
There we go. Manage configuration. View configuration. Edit configuration. And then there it is. Boom. Allow load balancer managed records. Okay. And save and exit. Well, that didn't post very cleanly, did it?
Sorry.
Oh, the comment. Everything got run together, but I think you guys can figure that out.
Yeah, I tried to put in carriage returns on that. Did not work.
Yep. All good. Okay. And so now we want to, we do keep in mind, you probably see different, that's fine. All right. We did that. Publish. Okay, here we go. So now we want to go to multi-cloud app connect. And so go to my services, multi-cloud app connect. You were redirected because the namespace you were trying to access restricted for your current role. Okay.
Yeah, probably because this is, remember that this is an environment that we use for different things, and probably this is just something that was there, but you'll be able to work because now you're on the right namespace for the specific user. So that's why.
Gotcha.
So,
okay. So if I come back to my instructions here, I should see a screen like that. Let me see if I go back to performance, or you're just looking at applications. Okay. Let me go to. Okay. So we have one critical application in there right now.
yeah, one of
it
the
looks
things
less. It looks less healthy, Alexandro.
Yeah,
than
but
it does in your lab.
that's one of the things. Remember that I said that we run on a CloudShare environment. So basically, what's going on? That's if we don't use the machines, they will go down. So that's why I have some applications that are not healthy. Because if they're not in use, we're going to shut down also to keep the costs low as possible.
All right. So load balancers, HTTP load balancers. And then here we're going to create a new one. So we'll do jpackets dash new juicy dash LB is what we're going to name this thing. jpackets dash new juicy dash LB. Okay. So we're going to create a new one. And we'll go jpackets new juicy LB. And if you're watching, you find me annoying when I walk through a lab. I always like verbalize what my steps. So I'm not the silent guy with the background music. I talk through it all. So my apologies if that's driving you nuts. Okay. Yeah, use the domain that you used previously. So, okay. So that's what I named the object, but the actual domain is just going to be newjuicy dot the rest of my stuff. Okay. So that would be new juicy dot j packets f5 lab rats dot info. All right. And then we're going to do automatic certificate with redirect. And then we're not going to change any of the rest of that. But we do need to create an origin pool. And then so we're going to click add item, origin pool, weight of 1, priority 1. Okay. So add item, origin pool. Did I skip a step? Do I need to create one?
Yeah, you need to create one.
Add item. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So jpackets juicy pool. And then we're going to click a server. And I'll say too, from this step where you're kind of working through all the different objects you're building, it's different if you're coming from like classic big IP. In classic big IP, you have to build from the bottom up because you have to have the pool in order to build the virtual server. You have to have the profiles in order to build the virtual server. For an iRule, if you're going to reference like a data group, you actually have to have that data group before you can save an iRule. So it's like bottom up in classic big IP. From a distributed cloud perspective, you could start at the top and build all the objects as you go, which is kind of nice. Okay, add item. Now this is the Ubuntu server we looked at. Okay, so that's that DNS name that I copied off. Let me find that. Copy.
One thing that I would like to add is that let's suppose that after you finish the configuration, if it doesn't work, it's also possible that the machines that are running on our environment went down. That means that we just need to restart them. Remember that I told you that, yeah, if you don't use the machines, they will go down after 30 minutes from the top of my head. So as soon as we finish the configuration, if we cannot see the juice drop, the website working also, we just need to double check if the machines are up and running still.
Okay. Also, the we're not expanding these, but in a lot of places with the distributed cloud, there are advanced fields where you can apply different functionality. We're not doing that in this lab, but they're there if you want to have access to all the nerd knobs. Okay. So here on the origin server, I think I saw that port was 3000. And then the rest of that is default. So let me change that. All right, no health checks at this point. I don't think we're doing that. So we're going to click continue there and then apply. So let's continue. So we're continuing here. I added the origin server. Now I'm going to actually apply my origin pool. And then at this point, I think we can save and exit because we're not applying any of the distributed cloud security stuff at this point.
If you want to, definitely will be able to as well. So if you want to create a WAF policy, that's possible. But that's not the objective of this exercise. We also try to avoid a little bit if the student's not able to see something working because he will need to ask, I apply the WAF policy, what's going on? So that's why. So we try to do it on step by step. Right.
Okay. So we see this coming in here. We got auto search started. So, with whether it's Let's Encrypt or whatever Acme type or automatic certificate process, it's going through and making sure that those things are reachable in order to, there we go, pre-domain challenge pending. And then
this can take some time. Maybe I saw that sometimes, I need to wait around 5 minutes or so to finish the whole process.
Oh, there we go. We're already starting the challenge.
Oh. So it's faster now, so it's nice.
But while that's going, new Juicy should be resolvable now, at least in the DNS side, right? So the cert is working, but the cert is in process.
You're right.
That should be there, right?
Should be there as well.
Wait, just new Juicy. And yes, we have an IP address for new Juicy.
And this is actually the IP address that's associated to our tenant over there.
Yeah, so I should be able to new juicy.jpackets f5labrats.info, whether the cert's up or not yet. Hey, something's working. We got a support ID.
I've seen this before.
So the DNS part is actually working now. So we were able to see that the DNS is working, but we still need to figure out to fix the HTTP part, so the application itself.
And that part should be, that's not happy. maybe the redirect. That's resetting too. Okay. So something is not happy with the load balancer.
Can you do a refresh just to verify if it's the load balancer, or if remember that I told that maybe the machine is.
Yeah, the machine might be down.
Though it looks like it's not.
So if I go back to my VM list,
Yeah,
it says
both
it's running.
machines are running. So.
Okay, but the key point that we were trying to do in that lab, and we can troubleshoot the load balancer and the application separately. The key point of that is that we built it and the DNS was propagated automatically, and we can go validate that in the DNS management that record is now there, right? So if we come over here to we have 5 records where we only had 4, and so if I want to go in to manage that, then we can view configuration, and then we can see that there's a checkbox, right?
It's on the V manager. As you can see there is one next one on additional resource record sets.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you. I was like, where is that? Right in the middle. So yeah, we can see that that is a managed record, and there's our new Juicy that was added with that record value. And so yeah, that's present. And then we can also go see, let's check out our map to see if we have gotten any. Oh, thank you. Somebody's been requesting. So we got, let me see, refresh that. Let me do last hour. Updated 13 minutes ago. So there we go. We got some United States is representing. Thank you. We've got some Russia in there. India's in there. Oh, we got some France in there.
Yeah, cool.
So, yeah, nice. A lot of A records. Somebody's hitting those NS records in there too. So, nice. Good to see. Okay, let me see. Did anything get happy here? Oh, there we go. So whatever needed to be propagated got propagated. So yeah, so we're hitting from the outside. This isn't even from within Kali Linux. It's from my browser here in the US of A.
So it's accessible. If someone tries to access this website currently, they will be able to.
Yep.
All right, free for all. See if you guys can hack it.
Yeah.
Well, it's supposed to be hacked.
That's right. Yeah, I'm sure you'll have success with hacking this website. But we're let me see. Do we have time to get through the next one, or should we just call it and encourage people to go out and give it a shot? So we made it through. We verified our DNS records. We haven't deployed a DNS load balance, so let's do that, and then we'll call it. Let me go back. Okay, so navigate to zone management and start adding a geolocation set.
Probably a good time for me to exit, Jason, because I've got another thing that's got to run at the.
You got some at the top of the hour, right?
Yep. But what I will say for folks who are watching live right now, because of it's the end of April, myself and Jason are going to be together in person in 2 weeks in Denver. So if anybody is headed to Red Hat Summit, we'd love to see you there and say hi and take a picture with you, or learn what your DevCentral username is. So hopefully we can meet some of you out there.
Yeah, it'll be my first trip to the Red Hat Summit, so I'm excited about that. Excited to see Boo and some of the rest of the team, and we'll have a good time. So yeah, if you're going to be there, or you're in the Denver area and you'll be close, maybe we can hit up for breakfast or dinner one night in the downtown area. So give us a shout.
That'd be awesome. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks, Alejandro.
Thank you, Boo.
In the background. See ya.
See you.
Okay, so we want to go to DNS management, and then load balancer management, and then geolocation sets. Okay. So tell me about a geolocation set. What is that?
So basically, it's too small for me. Let me just double check. Yeah, so based on the geolocation set, you're going to create the rules regarding which location you want to apply some results. So let me rephrase. So for instance, if someone is coming from Europe, I want to generate some rules to say, okay, I recognize an IP address that's coming from Europe, so I will send this guy to this specific place. So you can create multiple rules. So for those that remember the big IP DNS, is like the same way when you start to work with the
Topology records.
Topology records, indeed. So yeah, I was thinking about global web. I said, no, it's topology.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, distributed cloud version of topology records, geolocation sets. Okay. So we're going to add a geolocation set, and I'll name it my JPackets. Okay. So we're going to add a geolocation set, and JPackets location. And are we calling that geo IP by country? Okay. Was that a selector? I missed that. Oh yeah, selector, and then by country. Add label. There we go. Oh.
You need to click on the in. I think I got some.
Okay, so let me say US. Okay. And you chose Brazil, but let me do, okay, so then I click apply, and then I need to create a DNS load balancer pool.
Sometimes I miss Brazil, so that's why I used Brazil as an example.
Okay, so save and exit that. Is that right? But I need a DNS load balancer for that, so, oh wait.
Yeah, we're also going to create the DNS
create a
load
pool.
balancer.
So did I do that right? Apply. Okay. So now I need to create a DNS load balancer pool. Okay. And add DNS load balancer pool. What do I need to put in there? Okay. So JPacket dash DNS dash pool, and then add item. JPackets DNS pool. And the formatting here for the names, again, like you mentioned it earlier, was to just to make sure that as 50 students are in here working in a lab, you're not,
Exactly.
crushing each other's stuff.
Exactly. So that's the whole idea about it. So of course, if you're talking about the production environment and it's on your own tenant, you're going to create it in a different way. For us, it's just a matter of really having it separated, split it out, so we can avoid confusion.
Yeah. Okay. So in the public field, 30.3.3.3, and then apply. 30.3.3.3, and apply. Okay. And just to call out, there was a question, hoping this session is recorded. Yeah, this will be available on YouTube for life. It's being recorded there, and that's where we archive all these. And okay. And then so save and exit, and then it will create a DNS load balancer. Okay. So don't need to change anything else in there. Save and exit. So we have a pool. We have a geolocation set, and now we actually need to create the load balancer. So add the load balancer, and let's see. JPacket dash DNS LB. And then let's see, configure your load balancing rules. To do this, click configure. Wait, there we go. And I need to add an item. And then I'm going to go geolocation set selector, and then my pool, and then I'm going to set that to 300. So J packets. We want this to be 300. And I need to select my label too, don't I? Yep.
Right.
A set selector. Got it. Okay.
I'm trying to read the one that you're displaying on your screen. I actually don't have a lot over here, so that's why it's so difficult for me sometimes to read it.
Okay, so I got a load balancing rule in there. You should see a screen with a load balancing rule you've made. Here's an example. Okay, see that? Let's add a new load balancing rule from your that's not from your country. Click add item to make a new load balancing rule. Okay. So new rule. Geolocation set selector system global DNS pool. System global. Was that global DNS pool?
Yeah, so this is a pool that's already over there.
Right.
As a catch-all.
50, 50, 50, 50, score 100. Okay. Edit configuration, that's good. And are we leaving the score 100 there? Yep, okay. Click apply. All right. Now we got two rules. Got it. Click apply and then click save and exit. All right. So don't need that anymore. Now add a DNS load balancer to the DNS zone. After the creation, it is required that you add a DNS load balancer record to a DNS zone. Okay, that works like a wide IP.
Yeah, so basically for those that are use it to work with Big IP Classic, we're going to create some sort of wide IP.
Yeah. Okay, so navigate to zone management and edit your previously configured zone. Click manage configuration. We're going to edit that configuration, and then we're going to add an item. So we're going to add DNS LB test, and then we're going to select our load balancer record. Okay, so let's go do that. First, we're going to go to our zone management, and we're going to manage our object. We're going to view the configuration, and then we're going to edit the configuration. And then we want to add an item, and that's going to be a DNS load balancer. DNS LB test. And that's J packets, right?
Yep. Right.
And I think we click apply at that point. Okay. And then we can go test that. All right. So if I come back over to my...
I think you still need to... is it saved or I also think you still need to save it, right? If you scroll down a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Good catch. Okay. So it's pending. That hasn't been... Okay, now it's active. So DNS LB test should work... in the Kali Linux, it should return the 50.50.50.50, right? Because that's not coming from the United States.
Actually, it is. This one it is.
Okay. DNS LB test. And so that's 30.30.30.30. But if I find a DNS resolvers in Europe, and I think you have a link to this in the thing. But I'll
yeah,
just
I also create some links so people can test in a different way.
Yeah, well, let me just look in the guide. It'll be probably faster than finding what I'm trying to find. Okay, there you go. Public DNS. You do it in the lab as 190.183.16.138. Let me see. Let me grab that. So if I go to Italy, I lived in Italy for 3 years when I was a kid. My dad was in the military and he was stationed at Aviano, and then down in Camp Darby at a base. It was an army fort down there. And then I also lived in the Azores for a year and a half when I was younger. My sister was actually born there. And that's a little chain of islands in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean that's owned by Portugal. All right, so let me just do this one. Copy will allow me to paste that in. That is the key. Dig at. Whoops. Well, let me paste if I right click.
Actually, there's an option over there if you go to keyboard.
There we go.
Oh, you've already
DNS LB test dot J packets dot F5 labs dot rats dot info a record, and there we go. So our geolocation sets with a DNS load balancer are indeed working. Okay. I think we can stop there because we're over time. But we got through. I think we got through all the DNS tasks minus the synthetic monitoring of that and the secondary stuff. But everybody should get the gist. It's fantastic to be able to work through these labs. It just works. The distributed cloud environment works, but also the lab guide is solid. I didn't have any issues on that front. Let me go ahead and pull that off. But that was a great walkthrough. I'm thankful that you guys are building tools and resources like this that are available for students to be able to come and take part and learn and grow in their skill sets.
Yeah, thank you. So the whole idea, as I said at the beginning, is that the 3D labs are available for people to learn and test themselves how F5 actually works and all the different technologies of F5. And as I said at the beginning, so if people want to book the lab, they just need to follow the process over there. So go to our website, do the registration, and then they can ask access for it.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you for building these labs. Thank you for coming on with us today and walking us through it and sharing
really nice.
Sharing your expertise. And hopefully we'll get a chance to as you release more labs, we'll have a chance to walk through more of these.
As soon as we release new labs, I'm gonna let you know.
All right, appreciate it. Take care.
Hey, thanks, man.
All right, everyone. Well, that is another lab day here on DevCentral Connects. I hope you enjoyed the walkthrough. I always enjoy walking through these things and meeting with people who build cool things. And so, until the next time we meet you live, have a great day and a great weekend coming up. And we'll see you out there in the community. Take care.
Well, thanks for checking out that video. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. While you're down there, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. You might want to check out one of these videos over here. And if you haven't already, go check out community.f5.com. This is where all the DevCentral Connects hosts hang out, as well as the rest of the community. It's free to sign up, and we'll see you there.